Okay.
Carly, I don't know if it matters, but we can't hear your music anymore.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I don't know if I can admit all.
See,
Oh, what do you mean?
I got it.
Okay.
And still no music, everybody?
Mm-mm.
Can't hear? Okay.
You can sing.
Yeah, I could. My big break.
Welcome, everybody. Happy Friday.
Good morning.
Hello. Hello.
Good
morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Morning.
Morning, all.
It's good afternoon for me.
Afternoon.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, it's almost there.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Hello.
See here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good afternoon from me.
There you go. Afternoon, all.
Good afternoon from me as well.
Hi.
Hi, everybody. While everyone's joining still, it's fun. I hear so many different accents. We've got people from all over. Go ahead and put where you're coming and you're tuning in from in the chat. It'd be really fun to see.
Herefordshire in England.
I'm from England.
I'm also from Herefordshire in England, weirdly.
Oh, who are you?
Near Kingston, where are you?
Medley.
Derbyshire, England.
Amazing. Brazil, California, all over the UK.
Ireland.
Manchester.
Amazing. Welcome. It's so good to see everybody. We're going to get started in just a couple minutes here. So grab your coffee. I'm going to grab mine. And everyone, if you wouldn't mind turning yourself on mute at this time, just to ensure that the audio quality stays really nice and that everyone can hear Faz and I.
Where are you from, organizers?
Ooh, I'm from.
Carly, your mic is off.
Carly, you're muted. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I've just been spewing away and no one can hear me. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Welcome. And everyone, if we could just turn your mics on mute, that would be amazing, just so we can ensure the quality of audio for Faz and I is really strong. So if you can turn yourself on mute for the time being, we would really appreciate that. All right, amazing. And we're going to go ahead and get started. Hi, everybody. My name is Carly. I'm the Community Events and Partnerships lead here at Learnit.
Thanks for answering.
Oh,
I have a quick
we're
question.
still-
Can I send chocolate to Italy to my son?
Excuse me, we're still getting some feedback. So if you could just turn yourself on mute, we'd really appreciate it. All right. All right, awesome. Well, thank you everybody for joining us for this Microsoft Office productivity tips, tricks, and shortcuts that'll blow you away. This is our regular Friday time. So thank you for being here. this Friday. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to go ahead and just make sure everyone's on mute. There we go. Okay, we shouldn't have any more background noise. So thank you so much. If you're new to Learnit, welcome. If you've been here week over week, also welcome back. Just to give you a little bit of context on Learnit and who we are a learning and development organization based out of San Francisco, California. So I know Chantel was asking where we're based. We're based in San Francisco, California. And we work with organizations and individuals all over the world and all over the country, really to upskill and develop and grow on the skills that we need to really thrive in the economy of today, and also looking at the next new normal and whatever this new normal is post-pandemic. So we're really here to support you both in the realm of professional development and in technology and skills. And so we're thrilled to have you here with us today. In terms of how these sessions work, we host these events every week. Our monthly theme for this last month has been 21st century skills, and we're moving into April. So the theme for April is employee well-being. And we'll speak more about that and some fun and exciting events coming up for April, and special guest speakers we have after this session. But for the sake of now, I want to do a little bit of housekeeping. This session will be recorded and it will be available to you after the session. So we'll share more information about where you can access the recording at the end of the session, so stick around for that. And also, if you have questions, please utilize the chat. My team, Marissa and I, who's our events community coordinator, we will be capturing questions, and Faz will leave time for that throughout the session. But without further ado, I'd really love to introduce all of you to Faz Karim, our amazing instructor that we have here today. Faz is an expert in Microsoft Office, SharePoint, Teams, and the entire Microsoft Power Platform. He is an educator, an instructional program designer, a project manager, and a communication expert. And Faz consults for our largest clients here at Learnit. He's up all night, sometimes teaching clients that are overseas. And so we're just thrilled to have him. And he's also working on a really exciting project to help us develop an Office application and tech program and cohort. So Faz is the brains behind a lot of our training, both in front of the camera and off the camera. So he's also been a dear friend over my last 2 years at Learnit. So with that, thank you so much, Faz. We're thrilled to have you here.
Thank you so much, Carly. And thank you everyone for making it. Let me go ahead and share my screen for everybody, because I do have a PowerPoint deck as well that I want to show everyone for just a hot second. So we don't have too much time, but we do have a little time to start talking about Office 2016, Office 365, and how we can use that to enhance productivity. Now, in this session, I understand there are a large amount of people. We have over 500. So I want to make our topics scattered across Excel. I want to talk about our data analysts, how we can use our spreadsheets. There's new tools like quick analysis to do certain calculations, to do formatting, to insert tables, visuals, much faster than we used to. Or if you deal with text, I want to talk about something called Flash Fill. That's been available since 2013, but it's a nice tool to have in your tool belt when you need to use it to split up columns or put together words inside of columns. Also, in case anyone has some Word document skills that they need to fresh up on, Word has some pretty nice picture layout formatting options that I want to talk about. A lot of people back in the day, when I was growing up, they were complaining about how when you add an image to a Word document, everything shifts left and right. Well, Word has a lot of tools to alleviate that problem, the layout options that we have, and some formatting options like the format painter, the navigation pane, styles that we have available that I want to discuss. If we have any PowerPoint people today, I'm using PowerPoint right now. I like putting power to my points. But I want to talk about a tool called Zoom Summary Slide, not Zoom, the video conference tool, but a table of contents, a way that we can build a slide that just kind of links to all other slides in a presentation. It's one of those new features for our Office 365 users, and I use it quite often for my large presentations or my large PowerPoint decks that I'm sending to people. And something that we all can't avoid, Microsoft Outlook, which has been having quite a few updates. But there's something really cool that's been rolling out, and it's called Mentions. And every time I show it to people, there's always a group of people like, oh, I've never heard of this, but I've seen it before. And I just want to give a name to it, explain when I use it, and how it makes writing out emails to people in your organization a little bit faster when you're developing those emails and adding people to a 2-line. A lot of good stuff. I do have little files put together so that I can demonstrate these contents, these topics, but let's start out with Microsoft Excel. I'm a little curious here. Let's use the chat box for this. Are you an Excel beginner, an intermediate user, or an advanced user? There's no right or wrong answer. I just want to know. Right, nice. I see someone call themselves advanced. Some people are like an intervanced person. I totally get it, but that's good. Intervanced. See, we have a couple of them. Cool. Intervanced. There we go. Alrighty. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize my PowerPoint, and I want to open up this Excel file that I put together. This is just for me to demonstrate these topics that I want to show you throughout the day. And I'll zoom in, don't worry. I won't have you squint at my screen. Now, I do have a question here. Is anyone on a Mac today? There's a certain feature that I have in Excel that isn't available on Mac, but my PC users do have it. My PC users do have it, just one of them, but I have another one that we all have. So I have something for everybody. Now I'm looking over here at this spreadsheet. I'm on a sheet called Quick Analysis because that's the tool I want to talk about. And I'm just tracking the sales I have for all the products I'm selling. It's just Q1. Just tracking the totals for all the products that I'm selling, the printers, the fax machines, the all-in-ones. Sounds like we're Kinko's or something, or maybe FedEx or maybe Office Max. Now, when you have data on a spreadsheet, you can actually highlight it. You can highlight the entire thing using a keyboard shortcut. I am a big fan of using keyboard shortcuts as I navigate through Excel. So if I want to highlight this entire data, I can use Control and the letter A to highlight all. As long as my green cell address box is inside the list of information, Excel will know to grab the entire data set, or I should say all of the data set. I'm going to hit Control A. Now, once I do that, if I'm using a PC, you're going to notice there's going to be a little icon popping up on the right-hand side of the cells that you have selected. That's actually going to be our quick analysis tool. When you do click on it, it's going to open up a variety of options for you. Nothing new. It's nothing new that we haven't seen before, but it allows you to do a lot of things quickly. Let me explain. So with quick analysis here, I have the ability to use conditional formatting. Well, before this, I used to have to go to the Home tab. I used to have to go into the Styles command group to use conditional formatting, which I still can do. You know, old habits don't break. I can still do that. But it's nice that I can also do it from here now. Or maybe I want to insert a chart, because we can go to the Insert tab, and there's a Charts command group here. And I've been doing that for years. But in 2016, they added in the ability to add charts from Quick Analysis. The main reason when I use Quick Analysis, to be honest, let me highlight this second row here, is because I use it for totals. To me, it takes a little while to fill out functions and formulas. So when I use Quick Analysis, I end up using it to find sums, maybe a sum row, or maybe an average, or I want to count how many values I have in the highlighter or my columns. Let me go ahead and build a sum row at the bottom of my data set for me using Quick Analysis. Cool. So I just added in a sum row. I can also highlight it, and I can add maybe an average column. I can click on this little arrow over here. I can find an average. And when I do that, it just instantly adds an entire column of calculations for me. Let me make this column a little bigger so you can see it. Yeah, I mean, there's no value there, so it's division by 0, but pretty nifty tool. In a very, very busy city. A very, very busy city. That's where. So quick analysis is pretty useful. And if you notice, if you highlight the data, I'm going to highlight it one more time. I can even insert a visual. I can go and insert a chart based off the data set that I have using quick analysis, all within a click of a button. It didn't even take that long to build these things.
Unmute thì nó có gạch chéo nè.
Now, this is just one feature, and unfortunately, the quick analysis tool is only available on the PC. When you highlight data, it goes ahead and it pops right up. Now, there's one more feature I want to talk about for Excel that might save you time. I mean, even this one, the word quick is in the title.
Mà sao cũng chưa nghe. Thì bây giờ thấy.
I'm going to go ahead and go to this next sheet over here called Flash Fill. But I'm going to use a keyboard shortcut to do that, everybody. I'm going to use the page down key. Thank you, Carly. The page down key to flip the page in my workbook here. And when I do that, it's going to end up going to the next sheet in my workbook. It's just another keyboard shortcut, like the Control-A key that I did.
Unmute rồi.
Excuse me, just a quick reminder for everybody to please mute. Thank you.
So now that we're seeing this over here, I want to look at this spreadsheet because this is a very common problem that we have. I have a full name column, and it's my job at my company to extract this data. I have to build a spreadsheet with the first name.
Cũng chưa nghe.
I have to build a spreadsheet with the last name. I maybe even have to split them around, and I have to put the last name first, and then the first name, and I even have to add a comma. These things are kind of repetitive little tasks that I have to do throughout the day. So when I use Excel, I can give it an example, like I can type in Adam. And on a brand new cell that I have, there's this tool called Flash Fill. And when I go to my data tab, I can go ahead and use the data tool called Flash Fill. It's the one with the lightning bolt. And it's automatically going to repeat that pattern. It's going to extract the first word of every cell from the left-hand side. Now, here's the thing, though. When I use Flash Fill, I like using the keyboard shortcut, Control and the letter E, just to save my time. Just like I talked about Control and the letter A, how it highlights all, just to save my time, this one will do Flash Fill for me instead. I'm going to hit Control E. Now, look, that's a pretty good question. Someone's asking, is Flash Fill case sensitive? Well, I can go ahead and I can type in a capital letters. Like I'm going to capitalize every single letter in my last name. And I can hit Control E, and it even does formatting. So yeah, it also works with case sensitivity. It even adds in special characters. If you need a delimiter, they call those delimiters. You just give it one example and you hit Control E on a new line. I mean, even when the numbers and letters, like I have model numbers here, this is a common thing for my retail employees. They have inconsistencies. You can go ahead and hit Control E and it breaks up just the letters. You can also hit the numbers. Excel's my favorite tool, everybody. I'm going to hit Control E. I learned about Flash Fill myself when I was extracting company email addresses. I wanted to see the company names. I can do that with email addresses, right? You can just extract the company name from the email. This one's kind of outdated. I mean, there's a phone number data type in Excel. If you don't know that, there's a phone number data type. But it's cool that you can format a list of phone numbers with Flash Fill there. Now, Excel is one of my favorite tools. But if I can spend 6 hours on it, it wouldn't be enough time. If I can spend 18 hours, it wouldn't be enough time. Carly knows this, Marissa knows this. There are a few other tools that I want to talk about here. But before I jump away from Excel, Carly, did you notice any questions that I may have missed inside the chat box there? Or maybe Marissa? Yeah, flash fill.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, we both came off. There was actually a good question in the YouTube, Foz, that said, are there any shortcuts to move inside the quick analysis bar?
Ooh, that's a good one. To move and navigate around, I don't believe so. To move it. So here, let me show you this. Not the quick analysis toolbar, but there's a way to navigate across Excel, the entire software, without using your mouse. And it's actually holding down the Alt key. This won't work if you have a Mac, unfortunately, but if you have a PC, you'll be able to see a bunch of letters and a bunch of numbers appear around everything. Let me explain. I'm going to hold down the Alt key. So it's not going to pop up the quick analysis toolbar, but it'll pop up a letter or a number around every single tool that you use. So if I need to go to my Home tab, I can click on the letter H on my keyboard. If I want to maybe use the conditional formatting tool, I can hit the letter L because it stands for L for there. And that opens up the highlighting cells, which I can click on another letter, and so on and so forth. There's a way to navigate using your keyboard for everything. It's just you have to hold down the Alt key when you do it. Yeah, it's only for PCs though. Your Mac user won't do that. Yeah, so it's not for the quick analysis tool, but it is for the rest of the software. Yeah, so hopefully that will help out.
Amazing. We have a lot of people saying that that's really cool. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. Cool. Now, someone said, is this feature available in all of Excel? Let's just list this out. Quick analysis was available from 2013 and up. I'm sorry, 2016 and up. Flash fill was 2013 and up. 2013 and up. Yeah. And this one's only for PCs, unfortunately. Quick analysis PCs. These are all great questions, everybody. You're ready to disappear cell. We'll see if we can answer that question towards the end because I don't have an exercise file set up for it, Tracy, okay? We'll see if we can have time for it, yeah. But how many people actually use Microsoft Word? That's a trick question. It's probably everybody. Now, Word is another fun software to use. I host trainings on it, but there are some newer tools that are available that might alleviate some of these problems you might be facing when formatting and building documents. I make a ton of handouts. A lot of the class handouts that we work with, I put them together. I make the content, the screenshots. Dealing with Word documents and images and text and styles and formatting, there's a long way of doing it and there's a short way of doing it, to put it simple. I want to show you the shorter way with the most newest tools that I know about. Let me open up this file that I put together. The Word formatting file. We're doing pretty good on time. We're doing pretty good on time. I like it. So just a little file. It's just black and white text, an image of a Word logo that I put in. Now, a few things that I want to point out, because I've been teaching Microsoft Word since like Word 2010, and I've seen all the changes that have happened. The first thing I want to point out is inside of your View tab of Microsoft Word, there's something called a ruler. A ruler so you can go ahead and see the margins of the document and how things are being laid out. This ruler is not on by default. So if you're new to Office 2016 and you jump from an older version, your ruler might not be there. I'm going to go to my View tab here. I'm going to click on my View tab. And when I do that, I have something called Show. There's a command group. They call these command groups inside of my View tab, command group Show. It's called Ruler. And I always like using it because it just lets me see the margins and all that good stuff, the indents. There's also another thing I like to use, and that's called the navigation pane. I'm building these large handouts, these large, materials. I like using the navigation pane. So I'm also going to turn that on myself too, just to make my life easier. Cool. Now the navigation pane will actually show you something called headings inside of your document. I don't have any yet. There's no headings yet. I haven't built them yet, but I do have some headings that I want to create in my document. I want to style these up. I want to make them look a little bigger. Now, what I want to do here is I want to go ahead and create an interactive outline. I want to create an outline that people can kind of skip through and see my document with these little headings that I have. So instead of using my home tab and, making the font size a little bigger, or maybe making it, bold to make it stand out. A lot of people do this for their headings. I don't do that. I take advantage of Microsoft's Word's actual style sets. So in the Home tab, I have something called styles. I can make my own, but we're going to just use the built-in ones. And with the style sets, I can choose to add in a heading 1, or maybe a smaller heading 2, or maybe a title. And in my case, I'm going to do a heading 1 here. Cool, so I went ahead and added in the video's heading into my navigation pane. I'm going to use the format painter. I'm just going to use the format painter from my home tab to do the rest of my headings. I'm just going to do that one and that one there too. Because the format painter copies the format of something onto another word. So I'm just going to do that for themes there. And I'm just going to do it for picture layouts as well. Let me turn on my format painter one more time. You can double click it to lock it on as well. Now, people are like, what's the benefits of this? Why wouldn't I just change the color to blue? Why wouldn't I increase the font size? Well, if you do that, you're not going to see it pop up in the navigation pane. The navigation pane actually allows you to move things around from here. If I want to put picture layouts first, I can put it to the top and it instantly moves that entire chunk in my document. If I want to put videos at the bottom, I can grab that chunk and it instantly puts videos at the bottom. And I can expand and I can collapse amongst them. Let me go ahead and put that back on top, videos on top there. Right? It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Why should we use this instead of just styling it up ourselves? Here, I'll give you one more. I wasn't even planning on doing this, but Word, Control Z. Let me give a little bit space up top, just like a little bit. Let me go back to normal here. Word actually has a table of contents. If you are using headings, I wasn't planning on talking about this, but I think it's going to be beneficial for some of us. If you're using headings, you can create a table of contents out of the headings using the references tab. You can reference these headings. Could have used this in college. Me too. I always think that. Now I'm going to use a table of contents here, and I'm going to go ahead and add in this style. I can build my own. We're not going to get into that. But look, it's going to add the heading 1, the heading 2, and the heading 3 like so. In our case, they're all heading 1s. It's all going to be on page 1 anyways. But if it was a large document, this would be useful. A lot of my course outlines that I build these big topic lists. I'll end up having these breakdowns on top that people can click on, and it takes them to each section. They can click on it, and it'll take them to each section. So even a table of contents is available. Now, things are looking pretty smooth. I'm liking my Word document. There's a few things that I just want to point out, though, like why am I doing this exercise? The first thing I showed you today was styles. Styles was headings. That's a big thing because your navigation pane uses them. Your table of contents uses them. Now, images are also another battle. I've noticed that when you have an image in a Word document, by default, it treats it like a letter, like a character. It's the same thing as you typing the letter A. It moves around like an actual character. If I drag and I move it, you see that little cursor? It's moving it around like a letter. but it's a big picture. Kind of difficult, and it's kind of hard for people to just, you know, kind of get used to that. But they added in this little layout option. And when I click on it, when I click on that layout option there, it allows me to change the way this image is going to interact with the text. So if I go and I can see this, I'm going to zoom in. I have image wrapping. I can put the image nice and square or tight into the text. I can put the image over the text or between the text or behind the text. I'm going to go ahead and change this to the square option here. So now everywhere I move this image, it's always going to be square to the text. So if I move it to this side, it's going to be square. If I move it to this side, it's going to be square. Here, let me go over to my Insert tab here. And I'm going to go over to my Pictures option and use an online picture here. Let's go ahead and add in another logo. I'll do PowerPoint. Why not? And I'll insert that in there. I'm just going to make it a little bit smaller there. Oop. A little bit smaller. I don't need it this big. I don't want to flip it. That's fine. Here. Now with PowerPoint, I changed the setting to top bottom, So regardless of where I move it, it's always going to show with a piece of text above it and below it. It's just a different setting that I've chosen for it. Here, I'm going to put this one over here, but I'm going to change this one to tight just to make more use of the room here. I'm going to move this one around just a little bit there as well. Cool. The picture looks kind of morphed, but it's okay. Now, someone is asking me, how am I zooming in and out? Like that, because it's pretty useful for everybody. I don't use the zoom slider. I don't use that. What I do is I actually use my mouse. I use the control key and the center wheel of my mouse. The center, this thingy, I go phew, phew, up, down, left, right, or I can't go left, right with this one, but some can. Control center wheel. So that way I don't have to use the zoom slider. Yeah, control center wheel. Yeah. Alrighty. So now that we're seeing this over here, I formatted my Word document. I've added in an outline for myself, an area to navigate. I've added in images. Now, when you have an image selected, these layout options are available for the placement of the image. Where do you want to place the image? I really like how Word, they've been adding in a lot of new picture formatting tools as well. Like, I mean, it's not going to be Photoshop, InDesign, and Illustrator for you, but there's cool picture formatting tools for yourself that you can use. Now, the thing about this is that this tab only shows up when you have a picture selected. So if you don't have like an image selected, you won't see that tab pop up. Yeah, the picture format tab. I mean, I really like it because it has something called adjust. Now with the adjust, there's things like artistic effects that I can apply to the image. I'm just hovering over it just to see how these artistic effects would look. Some of them are pretty wild. That looks pretty cool. I also can make them transparent if I needed to with the pre-descent default. Maybe I want to make it a little, background. I can make it transparent a little bit. It's kind of hard to click it now because I put it behind it. So now that we're seeing this over here, dealing with pictures and dealing with a layout, just the layout in general, should be pretty easy in a Word document. when working with the newest version of Word, because we have all these new contextual features that pop up, like this here, that we have. Let me do one more. I'm gonna have one more feature that I have for Word, and then we'll jump over to PowerPoint, and then I'll look at the questions too. Because I notice a lot of people in this day and age, we're working with teams. Like I work with Joe Patty a lot. If you've taken his training sessions, we're partners in crime. We're working together on documents left and right, handouts left and right. So what we do when we're collaborating together is we turn on something called track changes. So that way I can see all the changes he's made and he can see all the changes I've made, and we can approve and reject them. We're basically reviewing the document together. We're going to review the document. Let me go to Review tab because I'm almost done with my document. When it comes close to being finalized, you might want to turn on track changes. Now, when you turn on track changes, it's just going to track every time you make a change. If you make something bold, it's going to mark when you did that and what you did. Let me turn on track changes. So now if I go ahead and I highlight, like maybe the last line here, and I make it bold, track changes is going to go ahead and highlight and mark that for others to see. Oh, Fast Kareem a few seconds ago made that bold. Now, what you can end up doing with track changes is a user, an editor, can choose to accept or reject the changes once they're finalizing the document. So Joe Patty would end up sending me a document like, hey, do you want to accept these or reject these changes I made to the handout? And I'll just run through accept, reject, accept, reject. And it ends up either keeping the change or denying the change. In my case, I'm going to reject it. Boom. And it ends up going back to normal. Yeah, so you can save the document. You can turn it on at any point in time. So once you turn it on, it stays on for everyone that has access to the document. And you can turn it off too at any point in time too. Absolutely, yeah. So even if you save the document, reopen it, you're good to go. Now, let me go back to my PowerPoint here because there are other topics. Word's a good one too, though. I like Word. Carly, Marissa, did I miss any questions there? There were so many things flying in that chat box. Did you catch anything?
Yeah, thank you. And Marissa was able to capture quite a few. There's a good one from a lot of really good ones, but Libby asks, does Word around heading and heading styles, does Word automatically add any heading style to the navigation panel, regardless of whether you have it open or not? And maybe how do you go about changing those heading styles?
That is an excellent question. So someone is asking about these headings up top, the style sets, because to be honest, most companies have their own. They have their own style sets. Like, let me show you something. I have something called the Learnit style. And anytime I'm building a Learnit handout or a Learnit outline, I'm using these colors. The heading 3 is a baby blue. The heading 1 and 2 is a dark blue. There's a no space option. I've built my own styles. You can do that. You can do that in any document. So what you do is, let's say you have like this really cool style that you want to build, or you found a really cool style, and you opened up a document and you notice, that's a really cool, let me change it. I'm going to do Algerian. Here, I'll go ahead and make it blue. I'll make the font size a little bit bigger and I'll make it bold. Your styles area lets you save them. These are the built-in ones, but you can save your own styles. You can go to the drop down and you can choose to create a style based off your selection. And when you do that, it ends up saving the style there. I'm just going to go ahead and call it example. And I'm going to hit OK. So now if I have another word, let me change the format back to normal. If I have a word here and I highlight it and I change the style to example, it will automatically change it to all those settings that I had applied. Typically what people would do when they have a document like this and they have style sets is they save it as a template. They save it as a template so they can keep reusing those same styles. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah. hopefully that helped out, but definitely you can just go ahead and highlight it and just hit create a style to save the style.
Thanks, Faz.
No problem. No problem. But let's continue on, everybody, because I still have 2 more topics, and these are some good ones. And I saw already a question about mentions earlier. Yeah. Hopefully we have some presenters. Do we have any presenters in this training session? Do we have any PowerPoint people? I'm a PowerPoint person. I'm using it right now. Presentations every day of my life. I did a picture of that for myself when I was in college. I'll tell you that. Pictured myself behind a desk for many hours a day by myself, alone. But no, different now. I have performed IT classes using PowerPoint. Presenter wannabe. I am too. Yeah. So a cool thing is what I do at the end of my presentations, especially my large ones. Like I teach a class called PowerPoint Psychology. It teaches you tips and tricks to design PowerPoint presentations to make things stand out. Definitely, hopefully I'll see you in there. But in that class, it's a 75 slide deck that I go through, and there's amazing examples that we talk about in PowerPoint Psychology. But I also give the students the deck at the end of the class. There's something called a summary zoom that I add to the deck, which is just like a table of contents. It's just summarizing the slides on one slide. Let me explain. I'm going to use my actual topic deck. I'm going to use this deck to build a summary slide off of it. I'm just going to go over to my home tab and I'm going to switch it to insert because I want to insert a summary. Now inside of my insert tab, there is a command group called links. I'm going to zoom into it. Zoom. And one thing we can do is we can build a summary zoom. I'm going to do the summary zoom. And I'm going to select all of the slides that I want to summarize onto one slide. There's only 4 slides. It's easy to do this example. And I'm going to choose insert. Now, this slide in the middle of a presentation when you're actually live in it allows you to go and skip to the next slide. So if I click on this slide here, it will automatically take me to it in the presentation. Or if I go back and let me go back to the top here. If I click on this slide here, it'll zoom into that slide. It just zooms in and I can continue on my presentation. I'm fastastic. I call it fastastic. Yeah. It's not fantastic, it's fastastic. I've had too much coffee this morning, everybody. So the Zoom slide summary though, I enjoy using it, but there's still a little bit more to it. There's still a little bit more to it. I'm gonna go ahead and right click the image because you can also change the thumbnail. You don't have to use the slide thumbnail. Like maybe this is the home slide. You can use an icon for that. They have a ton of built-in icons. Like I'm gonna use the home icon here. Here, we'll use that one and insert. So that way we can just replace these actual slides. Maybe for the topic list, we can use like a table of contents kind of icon. You know, for the website, offsite, the invitation slide, maybe we can have like a little web link. We'll use a spider web, why not? And then for the Learnit slide, I'm going to leave that one there because it's Learnit. Now, pretty cool feature. Table of contents is available. But as you can see, I just went to my insert tab at the end of my presentation, and I simply clicked a little button, summary zoom, and it ended up building it for me. I can also do a section zoom if I have sections in my presentation, or a single slide zoom. I want to zoom into just one slide. Yeah. Someone is saying, does it link to the actual slide if you use the icon? It sure does. So if I click on this house, it'll take me to the actual slide. It sure does. Absolutely. Cool. Now someone is saying, how do you zoom out? This is also a good question. How do you zoom out to the table of contents? I wasn't planning on talking about that, but you asked and I shall show. You're going to have to add hyperlinks. You're going to have to add hyperlinks. So if you wanted to go back, like let's say on this last slide, you wanted to go back to the first slide. You're not going to use a zoom. I mean, you can, but I go to my shapes and I use action buttons. An action button can link to another slide. So I'm going to use an action button here. Let me zoom into it just so you can see it. It's all the way on the bottom. Action buttons. And I'm going to use that little home action button. And that's going to allow me to link a slide to that home, the action button. I'm going to put it right here. You see how it lets me link to a slide? I'm going to hyperlink to the first slide. It automatically is built in to do that. And I hit OK. So now in my presentation, if I go and I use the slide summary and I click on this slide, the end, I can click on this button to go back to the beginning. And I can click on this slide to go to the end. I can click on this button to go back in the beginning. Yeah, so it's building a pretty dynamic presentation there. Yeah. Someone is saying, I'm interested in learning more about PowerPoint. You're in the right place, because there's an intermediate class and a beginner class, and my favorite, PowerPoint Psychology, which teaches you design tips and tricks and strategies on how to design a presentation using PowerPoint. Yeah, it's a very good class. But however, I have a little bit more time, and I still have one more topic to talk about here. Yeah. Carly, would you mind pasting the link to our YouTube channel inside the chat for us? Because we do
absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you. Friends, I'm going to take questions towards the very end here of this last topic, because I want to talk about mentions. I saw someone talk about it earlier in the chat, and I don't want to leave them hanging there. They were talking about it. So let me pop up my Outlook. I'm going to go ahead and do a right click, and I'm just going to start out a new email message, because you can use a right click from the taskbar to start a new email message. It's called a jump menu. That's just a really quick way to start a new email. And then it just opens up a new email box for you. Yeah. Let me go to full screen though, so we're not squinting at my screen here. And let me zoom in a bit. Now, one thing that I really like doing in this day and age, I like writing my emails a little differently. So if you have contacts in Outlook, you can go ahead and skip the to line now. When you're writing out emails, you can just fill out the subject. I'm going to go ahead and add this one. I'm going to call it explaining mentions. And if you need to send an email to people in your organization or in your contacts, you simply just put an @ sign, an @ symbol. It pops up people's names. And if I want to message Carly, I can go ahead and see that Carly's there. It's letting me know she's busy. I mean, she's in this meeting with me right now. And if I click on her name from here, it will show me her contact information. She's in a meeting, her email, all this good stuff. LinkedIn, if it was connected. Now, the cool thing about this is it automatically adds Carly to the to line of my email. So I can actually go ahead. Let me zoom back in. And if I want, I can send out an email. I'm like, Carly, I think this session is going well. And I'm going to go ahead and point, I can go at Marissa, because she's also in my contacts. Maybe. Yep, there it is. So. Thanks for helping out today. This is also available in Microsoft Teams. This is also available in Microsoft Teams if any of your organizations use it. Inside of a team, you can make a post. You can mention it to people. Now, when you end up sending out this message, they will receive the message with the mention inside of it. Now, keep in mind, they must be in your contacts for this mention to pop up. But it's a nice way to quickly kind of make the email process much more smoother. You just put the subject, put the body, it's going to send it to whoever needs to be sent it. It reminds me a lot of Twitter if you've used it. Let me go ahead and send out this email because they're already in the session. I'm sure they won't mind, right? Yeah. Cool. No, someone asked me right now in the chat, did they only get their message? No, they get the whole message there. They get the whole message there. Yeah. They added both of them to the to line. Both of them to the to line. Let's recap here. Let's recap. Well, first, Carly, did I miss any awesome questions about these two that you have on the top of your head? Is there anything that we can quickly answer?
Yeah, thanks, Faz. We have one quick question I think we get to is in PowerPoint, can you add video to the presentation?
You see that I was debating on two things. Do I show slide summary or do I show video? Because inside the insert tab now, you have a media command group. There's even a screen recording tool. You can record your actual screen with your mouse pointer, your audio, or you can upload a video from Microsoft Stream directly to a PowerPoint or directly from your device. So absolutely. So if you want to upload a video from your device, I don't think I have a video ready at hand. It is possible. But keep in mind, the cool thing here is the screen recording tool. You can actually make a video. So if I don't have a video, I can make a video by recording an area of my screen and simply hitting record. The PowerPoint video will show up inside the PowerPoint once I go to the top of my screen and hit stop. Yeah, it's a pretty cool tool. It's been available since 2016. Once I go to the top of my screen and hit stop. Yeah, so now it recorded this video. And you can even save the video as an MP4 file by hitting right click and save the media as. Because these files get large, you want to put them on a cloud service. Yeah. Yeah, it does voice as well. You can choose audio as well. Absolutely. Yeah. One more. I have one more minute before I have to give it away. Can everyone tell me their favorite topic? I just want to know which one was their favorite inside the chat box. Yeah. And how do you hit record? How do you hit record? Just for the person that asked that. Once you hit screen recording, you hit record up top. Record right there. Yeah. Flash fill. Someone said all of it. PowerPoint, Zoom, Excel. PowerPoint blew my mind. Good stuff. Good stuff, everybody. Good way to start the Friday, right? Table of contents. Do I have to pick this one? No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. No problem, everybody. Thank you all for taking time and giving me a chance to speak to you all. I appreciate it. Carly, it is 9:20 though, and I know you have some good stuff to talk about for everybody. Yeah.
Amazing. Everybody who enjoyed, can we just give Faz a little bit of love in the chat? Maybe a little reaction with the applause. I learned so much. Thank you so much, Faz. You are the best. Thank you. And thank you to Marissa for capturing all the questions today, or as many as we could. I really appreciate everybody's time and engagement and questions. And with that, if you want to refer back to this session, if you want to dive deeper, we have some resources for you to keep doing so. So I'll go ahead and share my screen really quickly. First of all, opportunities to dive deeper. As Faz mentioned, we have the class on PowerPoint psychology that is actually coming up on May 14th. And all of these courses are full length, so they range between 2 to 6 hours in length, and they're taught by our expert instructors like Faz or Joe Patty, like Faz also works closely with. And these are just a couple of other example titles that we have coming up. You can go to learnit.com to find out more and learn more about the public workshops we have available. And in terms of community workshops and what we have coming up, I really encourage all of you to join us in offsite. So there's multiple benefits to this platform, but the 3 most immediate ones are access to today's recording. It'll be posted right away. There's live instructor help. So if you have follow-up questions that we didn't get to, you can post them in offsite. And our promise to you is that our instructor team will get back to you within 48 hours. And there's also exclusive discounts on workshops like the ones you see here. So we would love to see you in offsite. And last but not least, the most, I think another great benefit of this platform and just these weekly community sessions is we have a whole lineup for April on employee well-being. So really exciting mix of sessions. To refer to this list and to RSVP, if you signed up through Eventbrite, they're all posted on our Eventbrite. They're live on our website. And last but not least, they are on Offsite. And Offsite is the easiest way to attend an RSVP. The Zoom link is automatically in there, so it's a great resource to automatically kind of tune into these sessions. So with that, thank you so much, everybody, for your time, for your attention, for your engagement. We really appreciate it, and we hope to see you next week for breathwork, kind of a totally different topic, but just as important. All right, everyone. Happy Friday. Have an amazing, amazing weekend.
Take care, everybody. Be safe.
Thank you, Faz. Thanks, Marissa. Thanks, everyone.
Have a great weekend, everybody.